Hi friends. Welcome to my Patreon. This is my very first video ever, really, but my very first video on embodiment as a spiritual practice. So I am going to go deeper with you to share some of the teachings that I incorporate into my daily life and how I make embodiment a spiritual practice. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't a little bit nervous about how this is going to go, because like I said, this is my very first one, but I value transparency. So I am going to bring my whole self to every single one of these videos. That is my commitment and my promise to both myself and to you. And I ask you to do the same, because when we are honest in our authenticity, that is when we find our truth and we access our healing. So what is embodiment? Embodiment is living the fullness of your humanity. It is not only valuing and inhabiting your mind, but it is valuing and inhabiting your body. It is about being honest about all that you are. Embodiment is a reclamation. Because let's be honest, and we're going to spend more time in the future talking about the history of humanity and why embodiment is so powerful, why embodiment is actually a resistance to the oppressive forces that try to hold us down in the world today, and why this reclamation is shaking up the status quo. But before we get into that, before we get into the collective of how embodiment fits into society, we need to reclaim how embodiment feels in our soul and in our actual bodies. You know, so many of us live disoriented, disconnected lives. We live in a fast-paced modern society. It's go, 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 go. We glamorize the hustle and the busyness of our daily lives. And so one of the practices of embodiment is slowing down, being mindful, being present, paying attention to the things that our body is speaking to us. And I want to teach you a few of the practices that I incorporate in my own daily life and allows me to be embodied. I'm going to invite you to step into that. The first one is your breath. Everything begins with breath. And I'm going to go more into the teachings, even the theology of the breath. But right now, I want you to recognize that your life began with breath. Your life, earth side here, began with breath. Our breath is with us in every moment and can teach us so much about our state of mind and our state of being. So wherever it is you are right now, I want you, find a comfy spot, settle in, ground into wherever it is that you're sitting. Feel your bottom in your chair, or if you're on the ground like I am, I like to be low on the ground. Feel your way into where you are sitting. Steady yourself, ground yourself. Feel in your body, I am here. Whatever you're watching this on, if it's your phone, your mobile, if it's your computer, turn off your other notifications. I have notifications that send to my laptop. I have notifications that send to my phone. Close your door, lock it, dim your lights if you'd like to. Be present. Be here with me now. Be here with your body now. Embodiment is practicing presence. Embodiment is the here and the now, the reclamation of the here and the now. Breathe a few with me. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. When I breathe out, I let my body drop. I let my shoulders, I spend so long each day holding myself up, keeping it together, carrying on. That's what we're taught to do, isn't it? Keep it together, keep it in tight, hold it up, hold yourself together, carry everyone on. Keep calm and carry on. Breathe in. Let it all go. There is nothing performative about being in this space. There is nothing performative about being in this space. Relax your jaw. With each breath. For me, when I get anxious, when I get stressed, I hold tension in my jaw. When there's a lot happening in the world, when there's a lot happening in my relationships, it manifests in my jaw. I clench. I hold it tight. I hold it together. I invite you to release your jaw. Sometimes embodiment feels silly. But again, we're not performative in this space. I promise you my true authenticity at all times. I live in my human body. And sometimes weird things happen. Embrace it. Weird things sometimes happen. But we're not performative in this space. Let it go. I hold that tension. Let it go. Through these exercises, what I used to have me go is I'm moving that tension that I store in my jaw, and I'm using sound and I'm using movement to move it out of my body. Now here's a truth of embodiment. Every experience you have ever had is stored in your body. When you touch your body or the body of another human, you touch every story they have ever carried. Everything that happens to us, because we are mind, body, spirit, everything that happens to us, we experience not just in our mind, not just in our heart, but in our body as well. In our body as well. When you are stressed, that is the cortisol surging through your body. That's just not the feeling. That's not just the emotion. There's a physiological and neurobiological response that you are in the midst of. When you feel love, when you feel pleasure, when you feel the warm fuzzies, when you connect with another human, that oxytocin is rushing through your body as well. It is something that you experience. So everything that you have ever experienced in your life lives in your body. And so one of the ways that we can release that is through breath, through our mindfulness practice, through sound. It's weird sometimes, y'all. And through the movement of our bodies. I give you permission to explore that, not because permission is mine to give, but because we have been conditioned to need permission in order to show up most fully. If you guys know me, you know you're always going to get embodiment with a side of justice. It's just the way I roll. It's just the way I practice. So show up in your power. We're going to do some breathing together. We're going to do some sound. We're going to do some movement. I'm not going to go all over the place right now, but if you would like to incorporate that kind of movement into your breath, you are welcome to. Because no one can teach you about what your body needs right now. You listen to what your body needs. And you give her that. You give him that. You give them that. Because we are in relationship with our bodies when we are fully embodied, when we are inhabiting all of who we are. So let's breathe together, friends. Let's breathe together. I want you to settle into your spot. I want you to close off to the world, because this is not about anybody else but you in this moment. Breathe in. Hold. Release. Breathe in. Hold. Release. Breathe in. Hold. Release. With each release, let it sink right down. Let it go. If you want to add movement, you go ahead and add movement. I find when I use both hands to touch both sides of my body, I'm activating and igniting both sides of my brain. It's a somatic practice. So if you find that your body is just moving outside of the confines of what even I have said, that is good. Follow it. Your body is your teacher. Your body is your guide. The whole point of slowing down and being present is to listen to what your body is speaking to you right now. Do not filter it. Do not shut it down. Do not silence yourself. You might find that there are emotions that are coming up, and maybe this is uncomfortable for you right now. That is normal. I want you to know, I want to affirm in you that that is normal, and you are among friends here. You are in safe space here. You're in your room or your office or wherever it is that you are watching this. No one else is here with you. You are in a safe container. You are in a safe space. No one is judging you, so don't judge yourself. When things come up, be curious of it. Follow your curiosity. Allow your emotions as they rise with your breath. Hold them. Get curious of them. And then release them. This is the way when we said earlier that there is tension that we store in our bodies, and there's stories that we hold in our bodies, the fear that we have experienced in our bodies throughout our journey. That's still present with us if we do not release it. Get curious of it, release it, and let it go so that we can move on healthy and whole in our lives. Let's breathe together again. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. If you want, you can move your hands like me too. I like to use movement. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Let it all hang. Let it all go. I want you to spend even a few moments every day doing this. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Slow down, be present, be unjudgmental of what comes up for you. Get curious of the things that come up for you. And when you have allowed them to teach you the things that they were meant to teach you, thank them and let them go on their way. Because you don't need to hold on to things that were no longer meant to serve you. You are no longer needed to hold on to the things that are no longer meant to serve you. Thank them and let them go, because we are evolving, growing beings at all times. We do not want to be stagnant. So my homework for you, if you're one of my coaching clients, you know I always give homework because these are things to practice. We say embodiment is a spiritual practice for a reason. It takes practice to move the muscles, to retrain the body and move the muscles so that it becomes muscle memory. And if you are anything like me and the majority of people who live in our modern Western society, we do not pay attention to our breath. We breathe every moment of every day, but we do not pay attention to it. We do not slow down and take notice of it. We do not allow it to move through us and to release, rather than all day long to have a tense, held together body. We must release as well. So I invite you to incorporate this into your regular practice. If you're driving in traffic and you're at a red light, breathe. When you are lying in bed at night, breathe, release. As you brush your teeth in the morning, breathe, release. When you are at your desk, at work, between tasks, breathe, release. We are breathing every moment of every day, but are you being embodied in it? That is the homework, and that is the invitation. And that, my friends, is embodiment as a spiritual practice.